Yo, this is part 2 of what will be my final video for some time. Having another break after this. And I'm summarizing here the details of the coming earthquakes in this trans-Tasman megaswarm and the associated tsunamis, which will affect both New Zealand and Australia, and I'm also summarizing what will happen in this enormous volcanic eruption of Ngātahoe and Tongariro. And the first two events, which are effectively the same thing, the earthquakes and the tsunami, will affect both New Zealand and Australia. The volcanic eruption, honestly, the ash might get to Australia, but basically it's only going to really affect New Zealand in any major way. So this information will be helpful potentially for people in both New Zealand and Australia. So the first point I want to make, having reviewed content in the first video and seen a few holes and things that I would like to add that I didn't because I forgot or I just missed it out. This is partly why I'm doing the second video, just to patch some holes. There are some other things I want to add too. Well, the first thing is that I didn't mention that the dreams I've had thus far seem to indicate that the volcanic eruption of Ngātahoe and Tongariro will most likely occur in summer also. It's what they seem to be showing. The weather was summer in most of these dreams, but there were people in the holiday houses in Kuratau, this little small lakeside batch community, batch being the New Zealand word for a holiday house or home. And yeah, there were lots of people in one of these batches, and those towns are pretty much dead outside summer. So I don't know for sure if it will be in summer, but I'm telling you right now that all my dreams have indicated that it will most likely be happening in summer also, the volcanic eruption. So who knows, perhaps it happens only a few weeks or even a few months or even just a few weeks after the megaquake swarm. Another point I would like to make here at this point is that, at this stage, is that the GeoNet app, which is available in New Zealand, will really help a lot of you guys there. So if you don't have it, I think you should download it on your phone, because you want to be keyed into what's happening with tectonic and volcanic activity there, and this is a really good piece of technology, a really good innovation, and it will keep you up to date. You get little notifications on your smartphone as soon as something major happens. If you don't already have it, you should get it if you're listening to these warnings and you're wanting to be prepared. And I'm not sure if it's available in Australia, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was, and if it is, you should get it because it could save your life. Because when the megaquake swarm happens, you'll be, I'm pretty sure you're going to get warned straight away. I need to do a bit more research into how this new system works, where they get the notifications straight away. But okay, I'm going to pause the video before I finish it, and I'll get back to you. I'm going to do some quick research online on that. But yeah, if you're in New Zealand, you should get it, and if you're in Australia, I would recommend getting it also. And from what I understand, you get instantaneous alerts through the GeoNet app, and that are so fast that you'll get them as soon as the sensors feel it, so that you could actually be warned 5 to 30 seconds before you feel the shaking. So it'll give you a heads up. Could save your life. Another point is that the figure I was given for the death toll in Tasmania was 4,500 off the top of my head. I'll double check that and correct it by the end of this video if I need to. I'm not sure how exact those figures are. They could be almost perfectly exact, or they might just be more of a ballpark figure. But 4,500 is a large number, no matter how you look at it. I think Tasmania has less than 1 million people, so that's significant. And we can reasonably speculate that the death toll on the coast of Victoria and New South Wales will be in the thousands also. Although, to be clear, I have not been given that information. This is big. I mean, oh right, this is just coming through now too. So I got shown in the dreams that the height of the waves, the tsunamis hitting Tasmania, will be the same as the height of the tsunamis in Wellington Harbour. I forgot to throw this in the first part too. So that's around 13 to 14 meters high. So the height of a 4-story building. There's a big tsunami. So if they're that size when they hit Tasmania, they're probably going to be a similar size when they're hitting Victoria and New South Wales. It's going to do devastating damage to many of the coastal communities in areas like the Central Coast. Australians have this thing about the beach and surfing in their national psyche. Something like 90% of Australians live within 100 kilometres of the ocean. It's kind of a halo continent. If you look at the population distribution, it's just a little ring around the outside, and there's not many large settlements in the interior at all. So they're really concentrated on the beaches. I mean, Australian culture is, Australian national psyche, when I think of it, it's inextricably linked to the beach and things like surfing and, just being out in nature on the ocean. So, and I think that for a reason, because it's kind of part of the national culture and the national character in many ways. So yeah, Australians love to be by the water, and if you've travelled in the Central Coast region of New South Wales, you'll know that a lot of the towns there are right by the ocean, and it's where the population's concentrated. And a lot of that land's really, really flat. It's flat as a billiard ball table. I said billiard ball in the first part, but I meant billiard ball table. It's just totally flat, and Australia's pretty flat, unlike New Zealand. There's not many mountains, so a 14-metre high tsunami there could actually do, in many ways, a lot more damage, because they could be going for kilometres inland over vast stretches of the coastline. It's a long coastline. There's a lot more people in Australia, so who knows? The tsunamis when they hit Australia could kill a lot of people, a lot more than 4,500. The death toll, it could be 5 figures, over 10,000. Another point with Australia is that they're going to be less prepared, because New Zealand historically is a very tectonically active region. It's on the Ring of Fire. It's built on a plate boundary. Australia is quite far from plate boundaries. They don't get many earthquakes, and they don't get big ones. It's not normal there. It's very normal in New Zealand. People are used to it. In a lot of places, they're very aware of the threat, and they're trained. From what I understand, a lot of Australia, they're not at all. So it will take them off guard. I don't know how much damage the earthquakes will do in Australia. Perhaps the earthquakes will kill a lot of people when they destroy buildings, but tsunamis from earthquakes, even that threat, I feel, is not something Australians really think about very much. But New Zealanders think about it quite a lot. We've kind of had it drilled into us, especially in parts of the country like Wellington, where the threat is very serious, and you grow up being taught about it.